All right, we're going to zoom in to the testes, singular being a testis. That's what this thing here is. One testis um, within the scrotum. And we're going to look at sperm production in this video. Before that, a couple of pieces of anatomy. Within the testis, these little tubes, these little sets of tubes here, these are the seminiferous tubules. That's where sperm production is going to occur. After the sperm are produced, they're going to travel out of the testis into the epididymis. So that's what this thing is. This is where the sperm mature and learn how to swim. A whole bunch of sets of tubes there. After they travel through the epididymis, you can see it's a fairly long structure. They travel out this little tube here, which is the vas deferens. That's this. Oops. That. Up to the seminal vesicle. Okay, so let's zoom in to what happens here. Here is a cross section of the testis. So here you can see the testis is cut in half. You can see all these little tubes that are in there. If we zoom in even further, this is a single seminiferous tubule. Here is another one. Mature sperm are in the middle of that tube. And development of sperm occurs within this structure. These cells, the bulk of the cells you see here, are developing sperm. So let's actually zoom in further to one of these tubes. Here is the seminiferous tubule. You can see there's one little guy there. I'll make one that's a little bit bigger. A mature sperm that's in the lumen of the tube, going to travel to the epididymis next. The outside of this tube contains the immature spermatogonia. The most immature, these are going through mitosis. These are the stem cells. They're going to allow us to produce more sperm cells. Then throughout the bulk of this tissue here, within the wall of the seminiferous tubule, that's where we have sperm development occur. These are primarily called spermatocytes as they're developing. And then eventually, they're going to be called spermatids. And then these mature ones, actually there's a bunch over here as well. Mature ones are called spermatozoa, which are mature, well, not mature, but fully formed sperm. To be fully mature, they've got to learn how to swim in the epididymis. Okay, we're going to look at that process more closely. Before we do, there's two other cell types within the testes that are important. One are these supporting cells. So these purple things here are Sertoli cells. These are not a developing sperm cell, not a gamete. They are supporting cells. So they support, you can see kind of how they support the sperm and the sperm development, promote spermatogenesis. The other important cell type is actually in the interstitial space. So opposed to within the seminiferous tubule, it's outside of that tubule. These are called Leydig cells. You'll also see them called interstitial cells because they're interstitial. These are important though because they produce testosterone. Okay. So let's zoom in even further to what's happening like across this section in terms of development of the sperm. This is going to rely on some remembering application of mitosis, mostly meiosis. Um, so fair warning. Okay, so these spermatogonia are 2N. What does that mean? They have two sets of chromosomes. Like most of our cells in our body, they're diploid. These are the spermatogonia. These spermatogonia are always going through mitosis. Mitosis results in 2N offspring. When this happens, one of these cells kind of stays and becomes part of the population of spermatogonia that stays in that outer layer that we need to have to produce more in the future. This second offspring goes through meiosis. So first we have meiosis 1. This is where we first produce two haploid cells. These cells divide again in meiosis 2. To result in 4 haploid spermatids. But haploid spermatids. These are actually at this point called spermatocytes. The spermatids develop a little bit further, don't divide anymore, but further develop and grow tails. Didn't make that one quite big enough. These are our spermatozoa. Sperm, also haploid. They're going to combine with an oocyte if fertilization happens, if that happens, to form a 2N cell then. So that's what gametes. Gametes are haploid. So we've got in terms of the names of these, we've got spermatogonia. From here to there, these are all spermatocytes. There's primary and secondary spermatocytes. Don't worry about it. As it's undergoing meiosis, they're called spermatocytes. So that's the name here. After meiosis is complete, they're called spermatids until they gain their tails, sperm. Then going to go off to the epididymis to mature. Won't become 2N diploid unless they fertilize an oocyte.